Hi everyone, my name is Haley and welcome back or welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to go through all of the series that I'm in the middle of because I'm the type of person that likes to read the first book in a series and then completely forget about it. And so that has led to me having a long list of series that I have started and I have not finished. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish all of these, but I figured I would insert everything that I can remember that I have started and have not finished. Any books that I have read the first in a series but the second one hasn't come out yet, I'm not including those, just ones that I know have more books already published. So I have the physical copies right here next to me, and then the ones that I don't own the physical copy of, I'll put a picture here so you can see what I'm talking about. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about a family that I've been matched with in Gaza who really needs our help. The person that I've been matched with, his name is Kareem, and he is currently in Gaza. He has 90 people in his family that he is trying to take care of, and I think there's going to be up to 250 people that he's gonna have to oversee once they get to where he is in Gaza. So their goal is $100,000. They've raised $16,232 at the time that I am recording this. I know $100,000 sounds like really far away and that we'll never reach it, but any amount of money you can donate is very, very helpful for him. He needs clothes, food, diapers, milk, anything you can think of. There are children, elderly, men, women, so many people that he can help with these donations. And so my friend on Instagram, her name is Ellie Owen. I will put her Instagram handle right here, and I will also put her Instagram handle in the description box along with the link to the GoFundMe. She had started Readers for Gaza on Instagram, where she took families from Operation Olive Branch, which is a huge spreadsheet of families in Gaza that really need our help with donations, and she matched people together. And this is the family that I have been matched with. It's just really amazing and honestly overwhelming to see the amount of support, and I really hope that that same amount of support can go to Kareem and his family. They really, really need our help. And so I even have a community post on my page on my YouTube with pictures of his GoFundMe, and the link is there too. Again, I will put the link in the description of this video. I will always be posting about Palestine on my Instagram as well. We need to do everything that we can to either help people escape or give them our donations to help them survive. So I have donated and I want to continue donating when I have the money to, but if you can, even $1, please, please, please click the link in my bio and also in my description box. And if you can't donate, please share the GoFundMe with anybody that you know on your social media or your family and friends. It's really important to get it circulating, and I really hope this video gets enough eyes on it and Kareem can get some more donations. That's what I wanted to say in the beginning of this video. Thank you so much for your support, and let's just get on with the rest of this video. So I'm not going to go in any particular order, it's just how they are stacked right next to me. So the first series I have is the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. I really liked this when I read it, but I think my issue is when I read a new niche genre and it's like the first book in that niche genre, I usually score it pretty high because I have nothing to compare it to. And so I think I gave this like a 4-star, but seeing a lot of other people's reviews, I know not a lot of people enjoyed it. So honestly, I don't know if my rating is just like me not having anything to compare it to or if I really enjoyed it. I couldn't tell you because I read this a while ago. But this is a small town, I don't think he's a cowboy romance, I can't remember. But yeah, it's a bad boy, good girl, enemies to lovers romance, and the next 2 books are following characters from the original, but I heard that the second one isn't very good, but I heard the third one is good, so I've only read the first one. I don't know if I'll get around to finishing it because romance series sometimes I'm not really always trying to finish, but this is the first series I'm still in the middle of. And then along the same vein, we have the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. This is the first one called Mile High. This follows Stevie and Xander's. Stevie is a flight attendant for Xander's professional hockey team. He's a hockey player. It's like forbidden romance. And then the second one is called Right Move, and that follows Stevie's brother and Stevie's best friend. And Stevie's best friend comes out of a relationship and she needs somewhere to stay, and Stevie convinces her brother to let Indy stay there. So So forced proximity, shy guy, bubbly girl trope, and that's the second one, and I really liked that. I think I gave that 5 stars, and I think I gave this 4.5 stars. I know there's at least 4 out at the moment. The third one follows a baseball player that you see in the second book. I don't know about the fourth one, but I am actually gonna finish this series. I really love this series, and I love these covers. They are just so cute. Okay, and then we have the All of Us Villains duology. I gave this 5 stars. This is essentially the Hunger Games, but with magic. So I think there's like 6 or 7 point of views that we get in this book, and it's about each member of a magical family coming together and fighting to the death until one is left standing to control the magic in the city for like the next generation, I think. But obviously not everything goes as planned, and so that's what this is about. I haven't finished the second one, and honestly I might have to do a reread or just like read a Wikipedia page about this because it's been a really long time since I read it, but I remember loving it, and I didn't want to read the second one because I didn't want to know what happened because I got kind of scared that I was going to be sad. So I highly recommend this, honestly. I can't really recommend the second one, but I do recommend the first one. Then next we have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I haven't even finished this one, but I'm gonna finish it, so that's why I included it. This is the duology following Oak, who is Jude's brother from the original Cruel Prince series, but I haven't gotten that far into this, so I don't know exactly what it's about. All I know is that it's about Oak and this girl named Surin from the Court of Teeth. I love the Cruel Prince series. It's one of my all-time favorites, so I know I'm gonna love this, and I'm really excited to read it. And then we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, one of my all-time favorite reads. I'm still reading Hellbent, but I think I'm gonna restart because I didn't get that far and it's been a long time since I read it. But this is a dark academia story about a girl named Alex Stern who can see ghosts, and so this secret society at Yale, the college, has kind of brought her in to use her powers so she can kind of keep eyes on what the secret societies are doing and make sure no one is using magic in a way that they're not supposed to. But obviously something goes wrong and there is a murder, and so Alex finds herself in the middle of it trying to figure out what's going on, and then other things happen that kind of just, you know, one thing after another kicks her when she's down. So I'm really excited to finish Hellbent. I don't know how many books are going to be in the series, but I also heard that she's taking a long time in between each one to release the next one, so I don't even know if I want to finish Hellbent right now because I don't want to have that big of a gap in between the third one, so I don't know when I'm gonna finish that, but I highly recommend this series. Okay, and then we have the Legends and Latte series by Travis Baldree. I'm actually currently reading Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to this book, but this is a cozy fantasy following Viv. She's an orc and she opens up a coffee shop, and it's about her making friends and found family, and also old enemies paying her visits, and her just trying to live a normal life even though she used to be a monster hunter. And so the prequel kind of follows her when she gets injured. This is before because it's a prequel. She gets injured on a run and she is kind of left in this little sea town to heal, and she meets a bookshop owner and starts to read and fall in love with that and just helping people. I'm not that far into it, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see how it ends. And then we have the Legends of Thesmar series by Helen Schurer. The first one is Blood and Steel. The second one is Vows and Ruins, and I just realized the third one already came out, and the fourth one is coming out at the end of this year. So I really need to finish the second and third one because I've only read the first one. But essentially this is about a girl who really wants to be a warrior, but in her town women can't be warriors anymore because of a prophecy saying that it would bring an end to like everybody in the city. But she ends up doing something that gives her favor with the king, and she gets one request, and it's to become a warrior. And so she gets granted the clearance to start training, and the person that is training her is like this really powerful fighter, because once you pass these like trials to become a warrior, you get like this power from the gods. That's her trainer, but it's also a romance. It's a romantasy, and so forbidden love trope, but also really good world building and really good action scenes. I feel like it's the perfect balance of romance and fantasy. I really loved it, and it's also on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited I highly highly recommend. I really want to read the second one, and I'm really excited to just see what else happens in the story. And then we have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I listened to this on audio, and it follows a witch who teaches at Oxford, but she doesn't like to use her magic, and so she kind of has flown under the radar, but one day she recalls a manuscript that has been lost for centuries, and all of the magical beings have been looking for it, like vampires and werewolves and witches alike. And so once she recalled this, she has a target on her back, and so there is a vampire that is trying to work with her and protect her because they know like what the manuscript includes and why people are looking for it, but he doesn't want to hurt her. And so it's also a romance between a witch and a vampire. This was kind of hard to get through. It's just like really dense, I feel like, and so I don't know if I'm gonna finish the series. I know there's just 2 more books after, so I could listen to them on audio. It was a fun time listening to the first one, but I honestly don't know if I'll ever hop back into it, but I enjoyed the first one. So if you're looking for like a more dense vampire witch romance, but also with a lot of like politics involved with otherworldly creatures, I would highly recommend. Okay, and then we have the Poppy War series by R.F. Kuang. I have only read the first one because I am terrified to read the rest and get my heart ripped out of my chest. So this is on purpose that I haven't finished this series, but essentially it follows the main character named Rin, and she is from a really poor town in this country that it's set in, and her dream is to go to this military academy. And so she tests and she gets in, but she is kind of out of her element because everybody knows that she's poor and they make fun of her, and she just doesn't really fit in when she gets there. So it's basically about her training to become a fighter, but then also a war breaking out as they are in their first year of this military academy. There's magic, there's enemies, there's politics. It's really well written. R.F. Kuang is known for being such an amazing author, and that is not a lie. This book is super immersive, super action-packed, and it's just so good, so easy to just get lost in and sit down for hours and read front to back. But again, I'm really scared to finish the series, so I haven't done it yet, but there are 2 more books after this one. I'll let you know how I feel once I eventually get around to finishing it. Okay, and then we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is another one that I am currently reading, so I haven't even finished the first one, but I know I will, so again, that's why I'm including it. But essentially, this is about a scholar named Emily Wilde, and she goes to this kind of remote city or town in, I want to say Norway, and she is trying to write a book about an encyclopedia of fairies, and so she is getting the last bit of research that she needs in this town because they have a certain type of fairy that she needs a little bit more information on. And so far it's been very like character driven, and then I also think it's a romance. There's just a lot of things going on, but it's really atmospheric. I love fairies. I've loved them my whole life, and this is just such an atmospheric read, and I feel like there's not that many like books with humans talking about fairies. It's usually like a fairy main character, so I really enjoy this aspect too because it kind of stays true to pixie-sized fairies and like more of the traditional lore of fairies rather than like the fairy court, which I love, but this is a nice breath of fresh air and I really need to finish it. And then we have the Halfling Saga by Melissa Blair. The first one is A Broken Blade. I read this a few years ago at this point, maybe a couple years ago, I can't remember, and I gave it 5 stars, but it has been so long that I need to do a reread. But essentially it's about Kira, and she is the King's Blade, the most talented spy in the kingdom, and so a mysterious figure moves against the crown and she is called upon to hunt down the so-called Shadow, and so she tracks her target into the land of the Fae, but it's not what it seems, and neither is the Shadow. So now she is trying to battle with what she's been told and what she sees with her own eyes. I think the 3rd one is already out and the 4th one is coming out soon, and so I really need to again get on this because I have just been slacking on the series. I think this is also a romantasy. If you want another romantasy series with a good amount of books in it, I would highly recommend this. I absolutely love this book and I really want to reread it and just hop back into the world, and I can't wait to have all the books on my shelf. And then we have Dune. I'm not going to explain what this is about anymore. I've done it so many times and I feel like nobody wants to hear me talk about that anymore. I've only only read the first one, but I do want to at least read the first 3, if not the whole series, but I don't honestly know when or if I will ever do that. If you want to get into it, I highly recommend reading the first one, and you can kind of stop there if you want to, but everybody should read this at least once in their life. Okay, and then we have the X-Hex by Aaron Sterling. This is another romance series, kind of like standalones, but each character is tied in somehow. This one was about 2 witches, and they are enemies, but they have to come together to fight a certain form of magic, and so they aren't enemies for long. I haven't read the second one, and I think the third one is coming out soon. I really enjoyed this. I loved the writing. It was a super quick read, and I read it during either Halloween or Christmas time, and it was just the perfect read. So if you're interested in this, I would say wait until Halloween time because it's just so perfect. Okay, and then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I honestly don't know if I'll continue this series because I liked the first one, but I feel like mystery series are hard for me to continue reading if the case is open and shut in the first book. It's about this girl who's trying to solve an unsolved murder in high school, and she starts to get help from, I think, the brother of the person who was accused of murdering his girlfriend, I'm pretty sure is the synopsis. It was good. I just don't know if I'll ever continue it, but technically I am in the middle of it, so. Same thing with None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. I think this is going to be a duology, and the second one is already out, but this was a really interesting YA thriller because it was about these 2 people that are recruited for like an FBI course where they are trying to get teenagers to talk to a certain serial killer that is also a teenager and try to like use that angle instead of adults trying to get information. So it's kind of like them talking to a serial killer and then also trying to solve a mystery at the same time. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I might read the second one, but it's not at the top of my priority list. And then we have The Blood Trials, and this is the first book in the Blood Gift duology. I really liked this. This is like a sci-fi fantasy book about this girl who has hidden magic, and she's trying to solve the murder of her grandfather, and so that leads her to joining the military ranks because she thinks that the person who killed her grandfather is part of that group, and so she's kind of infiltrating, but she's also trying to hide the magic that she has because it is illegal, I think, for them to be wielding magic. And so it's secrets and politics and really intense enemies. It's so good. I really liked this, and I don't know why I haven't read the second one yet, but I really need to, as I say with all of these books, but this one especially. And then we have the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik. The first one is A Deadly Education. I actually just read this. I think you saw it in my, maybe you didn't see it in my reading vlog. I read it after that video. I am so obsessed with this book. I don't know why it took me so long to read it, but essentially it follows our main character named Elle, and she goes to this school called the Scholomance, and it's a school run off magic, and so there's no other humans in there besides the students, and it kind of has a mind of its own, and doorways disappear and stairwells disappear, and if you think too long about a monster, it'll appear and kind of attack you. So the school's really working against the students, and so Elle is kind of a loner. She doesn't really have any friends, but you need people on your side in this school if you want to survive, because monsters are at every turn, and if you're not very strong, you're not going to make it. And so it's very character driven about just her in this school and what it's like to go there, and her trying to make friends and the connections that she builds, and also just trying to defeat a bunch of monsters, essentially. It's so good. I love the way it's written. I love all of the characters. The ending, hello. So I really need to read the rest of the series. There are 3 books in total, and so I really want to finish it soon. Okay, and then we have Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles. I think I said I wasn't going to include books that don't have the second book out yet, so I don't really know why I put this in here, but the second one is coming out, I think, in November, so I am in the middle of this because the second one has a publishing date. So I really enjoyed this. This is about a girl named Emery, and her best friend ends up going missing one night while they're at school from a ritual that she and some of her friends were performing, and so Emery is trying to just deal with that, but she also gets this new form of magic awakened in her from this ritual, and so it's about her and her best friend's brother Baz trying to harness this new magic that she has. So yeah, it's essentially about Emery and Baz trying to learn how to control her magic, but also finding out a lot of secrets along the way and trying to deal with that as well. It was really good, really atmospheric, really easy to jump into and envision what's going on. Really interesting magic system that is tied to the moon phases. I'm really excited about the second one. I feel like it'll be even better than this one. And then I have started this. I haven't finished it yet, but this is The 3 Body Problem by Cixin Liu, and I think there's 3 books in this series, and they're all already out. I honestly can't really tell you what this is about because I don't even know that much. I think it said it's about like scientists trying to communicate with aliens or something. I don't know. All I know is that it's science fiction. Winner of the Hugo Award. I've heard so many good things, and now there is a show on Netflix, and so I really want to watch it, but I have to read this first. Okay, and then we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is the Shepherd King duology. So this is about this girl who has this magic in her, but she doesn't tell anyone what it is because she doesn't really understand it herself, and she doesn't want people to know that it's like this monster living inside of her head. But she ends up meeting one of these warriors, and they need her help to try and collect all of these cards that hold the magic in this city so that they can save his brother before the king finds all of the cards for himself. That is a super reduced synopsis of this book, but I don't want this video to be too long. All you need to know is that it's fantasy, it's romance, it's a super quick read, it's really good. The magic system is super interesting. It's tied to these cards called Providence cards, and people can use the magic imbued in them if they physically have them, and so they are trying to save the guy's brother who was infected by this sickness, the same sickness that gave our main character her own magic. Really good, highly recommend, and I can't wait to read the second one. I think I'll read it really soon actually, because this got me out of a reading slump, so if I find myself slipping into one, I will definitely pick up the sequel. And then we have Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This is the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is small town cowboy romance. This is about a girl and her brother's best friend. They didn't really like each other growing up, but now she's come back home, and the guy sees her in a new light, and she also sees him in a new light, and so obviously they're not going to be enemies for much longer. This was just okay, so I think the second one will be better because I like the couple pairing more, because we get a little bit of a glimpse of them individually in the first one. Or no, I think the third one will be better, so I don't know when I'm going to read the second one because the third one isn't out yet, so maybe I'll read the second one closer to the release date of the third one. Those are all the physical copies that I have, so I'm gonna go in and see on my list what non-physical copies I have, and then this video will be done. The first one is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. So this is also a movie, and it's about this group of scientists that go to Area X, which is, no one really knows what it is, and that's why they keep sending people in there to try and get information. But while this group is there, things start happening that are not natural, and they don't really know how to solve it, and it's basically just a chronicle of them going through and everything that happens to them while they're there, and like the kind of extraterrestrial nature of Area X. I don't know if I'm gonna continue the series. I do want to know what happens, and that might be the only reason why. It was kind of hard for me to get through, and I don't know if the writing style is my favorite, so I might listen to it on audio just to like know what happens, or I will read a wiki about it, but I don't know. They're pretty short, so I will see how I feel in the next few months and see what I want to do. And then we have Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I really enjoyed the first 4 books, and these are also like small town cowboy romance books, but I read all 4 like back to back before the 5th one came out, and then now that the 5th one is out, I don't really have the same urge to read it, and I don't really have any connection to the last brother and the girl that it's about, so I really don't know if I'll ever finish it. But the first 4 were really good, so now that they're all published, if you're looking for a small town cowboy romance, I would suggest starting this series. It was really good when I was reading it, and now you have all of them ready at your disposal. Okay, and then we have Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I just started reading this, so I haven't finished the first one yet. Can you see a pattern? But this is a Norse-inspired fantasy book. It follows 3 different perspectives. I think it's about how the gods are starting a war and how these people are kind of caught in the middle and trying to figure out how to survive and like why this war is starting and everything like that. I really enjoy Norse mythology in general, and I don't read a lot of books about it, so I wanted to try and start some more, so that's why I picked this up. I enjoy it so far. I'm not that far into it, but I've always wanted to read this series, and so I really don't think I will not continue. The last series, I actually finished the first book today, and it's the Witch Collector series by Carissa Weeks, I think it is. This follows our main character who is a witch, but she does not speak, and so she uses sign to communicate, and 8 years ago her sister was stolen by the Witch Collector. He basically comes and chooses a witch from this village to go and protect the like frozen court, but she always thought it was kind of like against their will, and so she vows that the next time the witch collector comes, she is going to kidnap him and make him take her to the Frost King and get her sister back. But the day that the witch collector comes, there's also an attack on the village, so now the main character Raina is kind of stuck with this witch collector trying to get back to the Frost King to protect him from this other group of people from the east that are coming to attack. So it's an adventure, it's also romance and kind of enemies to lovers. I really enjoyed the first one. I listened to it on audio and I'm definitely going to continue the series. I hope they have the rest of them on audio as well, because it was an enjoyable listening experience. There were different voice actors for each perspective, which I enjoyed, and it was just a fun time, and it's like something I can just listen to as I'm working or walking to the train station and everything like that. Okay, those are all the series that I'm in the middle of. I tried to speed talk through it because there are a lot here, and I've talked about some of these before, so I thought it was kind of just annoying to hear me talk about the same books all the time. So some of those I tried to speed through. But if you have finished any of these series, please let me know, and if you think some are worth finishing or if you think some are not worth finishing, also let me know. And let me know the longest series that you're in the middle of, because there are some like Wheel of Time, 12 books or something. Like, I know some of you are reading that, so let me know. And also, just to reiterate, please check the GoFundMe in my bio. Please donate to Kareem if you can, and share his GoFundMe with people that you know can donate, or just share to get more eyes on it. I would really appreciate it, and Kareem needs all of the help that he can get. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!